everyone, it's Hayes, and in today's video I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free review of the Miraculous movie. So yes, it's going to be spoiler-free, but if you don't want to know anything, including how I thought and felt about it, I would not watch this video. If you want to wait and go in with completely your own mind, your own thoughts, don't want to be influenced what I think, I wouldn't watch this either. However, saying that, I'm not going to be putting any pictures on the screen, as I told you, just going to be left with my face for this video, because I don't want to like show you like which bits correspond with which, so I'm not going to be doing any of that in this video. It's just going to be my face. Sorry. And speaking of my face, we're currently having a heat wave in the UK, so if it looks like my makeup is melting off my face, it's because it is. It's really warm today, although this morning isn't so bad. It's probably the coolest morning we've had so far, so I picked a good morning to film. So I'm just going to be talking about the movie. I'm not going to be talking about the event itself. I have filmed a vlog. I'm not sure when it's gonna go up now, but I have filmed a vlog. I'm going to talk about the whole trip to Paris and like the experience of the premiere itself, but I did also get to meet Jeremy Zag right at the end of it. It was amazing. But I'm not gonna go into any of that. I'm also not gonna say if I was right or wrong about any of the theories I had. Like the day before I saw it, I had a big theory video go up. I'm not gonna say if I was right or wrong. And also, even though this is purely gonna really be about the movie, I'm gonna mention the show here and there, but it's mainly about the movie. Please no leaks for the rest of the show, or what's left of it. I know we haven't got much left. No leaks. Thank you very much. And I know some of you who are watching this video will have been at the premiere, which is awesome. I hope you enjoyed the film. So if you want to discuss it with me, we totally can, but maybe like put spoiler in all caps right at the start of your comments. Everyone else who hasn't seen it knows not to read your comments. And speaking of which, I would really encourage people to watch the film legally. I've seen some clips that have been leaked online. People have been recording it, so I'd really encourage you to watch it legally. Like, as soon as this movie comes onto Netflix at the end of July, I'm gonna watch it like 4 times the day it releases. If I do not see this movie trending, I will be very sad, okay, because you all need to watch this. And I'm sure the quality on Netflix or in the cinema or wherever it's releasing in your country is gonna be far better than the pirated copy you find on the internet. So overall, a lot of people had really high expectations for this movie, which isn't surprising given how popular the show is, the animation quality we were promised, the time and money that got into this. This was an expensive film. It took, I don't even know how long, like how long have we been waiting for this? It feels like I've been waiting a decade for this film to release. I know it hasn't been that long, it just feels that long. However, pollen! This was not the time! However, so I had really high expectations. However, I do really feel like it met those expectations. I think overall it was a beautiful film, and even my mum enjoyed it. So a lot of you know I'm disabled, so my mum came to Paris with me. I managed to get 2 tickets for the premiere, so she came with me to it. She's never seen Miraculous, she doesn't know a single thing about Miraculous, and she doesn't really speak French either, but she understood the movie, which yes, a lot of people were asking me that. Am I seeing it in French and will I understand? Yes, we saw it in French. Yes, I understood. I'm not fluent in French, but I speak a bit. But like it's very visual. It's the same way everyone watches Glue when they release a premiere, even if they don't speak Portuguese. You can still kind of understand it. Same sort of deal here. Did I understand it word for word? No. Did I understand what was going on? Yes. So my mum doesn't speak any French, but she still understood it. She'd never seen Miraculous, but she really enjoyed the film actually. She loved the music. She said like the music all throughout was her favourite parts. Stronger Together, Plus Fort Ensemble, that whole sequence in the film was her favourite bit. And her favourite characters were Tiki and Cat Noir. She said that's what my mum's verdict of it. She really enjoyed it too. And overall I would give it a 9 out of 10. Now as films go, there was nothing particularly groundbreaking about it. However, overall it was super duper enjoyable. It looked amazing, the story was great, the songs were wonderful. And I loved how different it did feel from the show, but still felt familiar. So I had a really great balance of the old, as in by old I mean like the show, and new, like the stuff that is repeated, that has to be repeated. Like I think you all know, it's Jeremy's retelling of how Marinette and Adrian got their Miraculouses, so it's like a second version of Origins, so obviously Adrian and Marinette have to re-get their Miraculouses again. they're going to meet each other again, both as civilians and as heroes, how they learn to work together, as well as the explanation to the audience of like what the Miraculouses are and how they work. So they were very different in the movie compared to in the show, but like they still felt familiar, but was different enough to justify retelling it, in my opinion. And the powers were also a little bit different as the movie went on as well, which I think really helped in the film's favour. So let's start with character, and they don't use as many characters in the movie as they do in the show. Like they're all there, but they do a lot less. They're more so like background characters. Like in the show they're side characters, in the film they are very much background characters. And whilst part of me was kind of disappointed there wasn't like more, because like I love like the rest of the class and stuff, I feel like it did kind of work though, because it made everything really tight and well paced because of it, and I like that's a good thing. So now let's talk about Marinette. Her arc from start to finish is awesome, really tight and well structured. I won't say what happens, but I thought it was done really well. Her development in the movie was solid. She is a little bit different to in the show. She's definitely more shaky as Ladybug. Like don't get me wrong, she has shaky moments, but like throughout the whole movie she's really unsure when she's Ladybug. As Marinette, she's not as popular at school, but I think that works well here. Like a lot of people, I get a lot of comments sometimes to how the theme tune is like, I'm an ordinary girl with an ordinary life, and everyone's like, well she's not though, even without being Ladybug. She's actually pretty exceptional. I'm like, yeah, she kind of is. Whereas in the film, she is very much, she is normal. She's pretty ordinary, she's pretty plain. She's just like overall more hesitant as well, and I think in some ways that could really help because it does make her more relatable to the target audience. As for Adrien, I absolutely loved what they did with Adrien. His arc was solid too, they had great developments. I'd say Cat Noir is pretty much largely the same as in the show, but Adrien is quite different. He is far more withdrawn, and it's all pretty much due to grief, which I absolutely loved. Like in the show, Adrien's grief isn't often really expressed. Like we're reminded that his mum is gone / dead / I'm not sure, I always get mixed up what the actual story, like the cover story, is meant to be. But like don't get me wrong, he has moments of sadness in the show, but Adrien is largely okay. Like in episodes like Felix and Gorizilla, those are like episodes about, well not about his mum, but where his mum is mentioned quite a bit. And whilst he's sad in those episodes, for the most part Adrien is fine. Like Felix is meant to be a year since his mum's gone missing, right? And that's roughly about 6 months into the school year. But before Miraculous starts, his mum went missing about 6 months before Origins. But even in Origins, he doesn't seem really that sad. So like I said, he has brief moments of grief, but it isn't really expressed a lot, but it was expressed a lot in the movie, and I absolutely love the way they looked at it and how it was shown. And speaking of Adrien and Marinette, I know a lot of you always say you want it to be more equal between them in the show. The movie, Adrien and Marinette, screen time and story-wise is a lot more equal. It's definitely not 50-50, I'd say 60 Marinette, 40 Adrien. Obviously that's a lot better than it is in the show. Marinette is still clearly the main character in the film, but we do get a lot of insight into how Adrien is thinking and feeling. He isn't forgotten about, and it does kind of sometimes feel like that in the show, even if that's not the intention. It was quite clear they wanted to focus a lot on Adrien. So now on to Gabriel and back to the grief. Again, I loved how they showed it with him. His motivation in the movie is the exact same as in the show, which I was totally expecting. And he's also quite clearly a man who is grieving. He's going through a period of immense loss. And you know, I don't always get that impression in the show. Like, I only know he is grieving and that he is sad because I know why he's doing this, because I'm repeatedly told about it, not because I am shown he is grieving. Gabriel in the show doesn't often look very upset. Ever. Like, I think his most prominent emotion is probably anger or just like nonchalance. He just doesn't really seem to care that much. So I really feel like the movie executed Gabriel's feelings much better. However, one reason why this movie isn't a full 10 out of 10 is that I feel like it needed more Gabriel scenes to like show his descent and his arc, like Marinette's arc and Adrien's arc. Really good, really well developed. I feel like Gabriel and like Hawkmoth as well just felt like a little bit absent in the movie. To me, it just didn't seem like he had enough scenes, and I feel like we need to maybe see his like desperation a little bit more, kind of like how we've seen in this current season. Like, a really good example of seeing that desperation was probably in the episode Intuition. I just feel like we needed a few more scenes of him to like, I don't know, just like see him develop a little bit more, because like when you see him at certain points in the film it's like, whoa, how did you get from that to that? Because he's not in it super much. So I think some more Gabriel scenes would have definitely helped. As for everyone else, Ali was amazing as always, love her. Nino was great. I really liked how they handled Chloe as well. They didn't have loads of scenes and lines for her, but what she did do I really liked. And also Sabrina. Sabrina was a standout for me though. Again, not as many scenes, she's pretty much in all the scenes with Chloe. But I thought she was great. I loved what they did with those two. Tom and Sabine were wonderful too, but in my opinion a bit more Sabine in the film would have helped. Like the overall message was to like listen to your heart, do the right thing, and Sabine tells Marinette right at the start, so I think some more of Sabine bringing in that message would have helped. So Tom and Sabine are pretty much the same as they are in the show. Like they both love Marinette, but they're quite different parents. Like Tom is more overbearing, weird dad type, although he doesn't go that crazy in the movie, but he's still quite protective over Marinette. And Sabine is more chill and actually in tune with what Marinette actually needs. But I definitely think more of Sabine would have helped. Tiki and Plag were amazing, although I wished for more Plag scenes. Plag was absolutely hilarious in the movie, and also more showing of the relationship between Adrian and Plag. That would have been amazing. And oh my god, there have been no images released of her officially, but Miss Bustier in the movie, she is gorgeous. The first time I saw her on screen, I gasped, audibly gasped. She is beautiful in the movie. Oh my gosh. Yes, Miss Bustier. I can't wait for you all to see her. She's beautiful. So I'm not going to say much about the story other than it was fun. I really liked how it progressed, and the ending, oh my god, the ending killed me. The ending killed everyone in the cinema. We were all wiped out when the lights came back on. Like I said, it's nothing groundbreaking, but it's very enjoyable and it's, you know, well thought out, well progressed. I also really liked the action in the movie. I think it's done much better than in the show. Like, I love episodes like Mayura, for example, because of all of the action. And like in the movie, they had all these really cool fight sequences, like the bit at the fairground. Really cool. And I think all the fight sequences in the movie, I'd say, were better than anything we've ever gotten in the show, in my opinion. And honestly, some of them are kind of brutal at some points, which I kind of liked. So, you know, like I always say, I'm not the biggest fan of the superhero parts in the show, as in like the fights and stuff. I just don't really care and find them quite repetitive oftentimes, which I guess is maybe due to budget constraints. Like I said, don't know enough about animation and the process of making Miraculous to understand why the fights are like that. But these fights in the movie were really different. They were really well executed. Pretty much seamless, to be honest. They were great fight sequences and great action overall. I think the story had a great structure, a really good pace. I think adding in some more Gabriel stuff could have slowed it down just a little bit. It felt a tiny bit too fast. Not over fast, just the tiniest bit over fast. And I think adding some of those Gabriel scenes would have slowed it down and it would have been literally perfect. But he also gave the movie a more creepy tone, which at times I really liked. I know it's meant to be for kids, but I really liked it. I think it actually really lended well to the movie because it's like juxtaposed against the softness of the Lady Noir and the Adrianette, as well as the action sequences. So I think the different tones in the movie all work really well together. And speaking of the relationships, and a lot of you have been asking about this, they are definitely entwined with the plot, same as in the show pretty much. The Lady Noir is the focus, I'd say, and whilst I am, you know, chief Adrianette shipper, I did prefer the Lady Noir in the movie to the Adrianette in the movie, and the way Cat Noir is just with Ladybug is just beautiful. I loved it. The Adrianette is quite different and Marinette is just so much more braver, so there is a lot more progress between them, and I guess it's kind of hard for there not to be some progress considering we only have an hour and a half to do this in, not 5 seasons, and wait for Marinette to say something. You know, she's got to do it. But I loved the love square in the movie more than I did in the show. I think it was executed 100 times better. I think it was amazing. Like, as you all know, I'm a professional romance and science fiction writer. Science fiction stuff, haven't really needed to bring that in because this isn't really science fiction, it's fantasy. So, it's fine. But the romance, I often get frustrated with the way some things happen. I'm like, that's just weird and cringy and embarrassing. But this was just it was great, and like purely because Marinette just didn't give me secondhand embarrassment where Adrian is concerned. Like, don't get me wrong, she's shy around him in the movie, but like a normal level of shyness. Like, most people are a little shy around the guy they like. That's totally normal. I'm shy around the guy I like. But like, most people don't steal their crush's phone because they leave an embarrassing voicemail. She doesn't do that in the movie. She's shy around Adrian, but not to the point where she's committing crimes to get closer to him. She's not like that. She's not cringy. And just in general, the way both Lady Noir and Adrianette both develop their relationships are done really well, and I just really loved how romantic the film was. Like I said, a romance author, so I loved it, no surprise, but it was done really, really well. But there is a good balance with the action and the other parts of the plot for those of you who aren't so keen on the romance. I know a lot of you don't like the romance, so I think you will enjoy the action parts of the film rather than the romance parts, but I still think you'll enjoy it overall, just because in my opinion the romance is just done so much better. So now on to the songs. Now, I got a lot of comments before I went saying, oh, we all know you're gonna hate this movie because it was a musical, because you hate Santa Claus, which is a musical. Listen, I don't hate Santa Claus because it's a musical. I hate Santa Claus because it's a bad episode, the songs included. The songs are bad. I love musicals. Santa Claus is just a bad musical. That's the reason I hate it, because it's cringy and not very well written, and I hate it. I put it on to have a laugh. I can't take that episode seriously because it's so poorly written. I think it's awful. Please, can we just like retcon it and write a better Christmas special? I hate it so much. So I was actually pretty excited to find out this was a musical, because I love musicals, but sadly bad musicals do exist, and Santa Claus is one of them. And anyway, I wasn't disappointed. All the songs were beautiful. I've been singing them non-stop, especially the opening number. I think the opening number is my favourite. I love it. It gives me goosebumps every time. Oh, I love that song so much. Although I do perhaps wish there was at least maybe 2 more songs in it, especially one towards the end. The end of the film, there isn't really any musical numbers, so I would like there to be one towards the end. Like, usually in a musical there's like an ending number. And there wasn't. I'm not sure where it would have gone with the plot, but I just felt like it felt a bit empty. Honestly, to me, the movie was less of a musical and more of a movie with musical numbers in, if that makes sense. So kind of like one towards the end, an ending number. And also, I don't know why I thought this. I said this in the theory video the day before. I have it in my head that the bulb between us was meant to be in the movie. That's what I thought it was from. And it's not. What was it for then? Just for fun? Like, great, that was really cool. But like, why? Like, I think it actually would have fit really well at a certain point in the movie. So I was a bit like, huh. Anyway, a lot of people are asking me how many songs there were. I'm not really sure, maybe like 9. A few people asked, I'm not really sure. Oh, and I did actually enjoy the Tiki rap after all. That was very good. So now the animation, I don't know a great deal about it, so I'm not gonna say much. I'm sure like Cartoon Apocalypse will do a video on it when the movie's out properly on Netflix, but from animation idiot's perspective, it looked absolutely flawless, and the textures and like the hair and clothing when it got close to someone, like there's just shots where Tiki gets really close to Marinette's legs and you see her jeans up close. I was like, oh my god. And there was this amazing moment with Alia. So it's like Alia's second scene, her and Marinette stood in the school corridor, and like, so Marinette stood on the side of the corridor where the windows are, so the sun's shining in. Alia's on the other side, kind of like partially in the shade, partially in the sunlight. And as she talks, she like rocks back and forward, so like towards the window, then away from the window. And like, she has like these 2 like strands of hair at the front of her face. Do you know how like Alia's hair, it's kind of like brown at the top and comes like down to like a reddy auburn? Like the way it just shone as she rocked forward into the sunlight and then like got darker, she went back. Amazing. I don't know if I'm using the right words to describe it. Like I said, don't know much about animation, but looked amazing. Although I found out Marinette wears a tank top. She takes a blazer off at one point and she's wearing a tank top, and it's absolutely ruined my immersion because all this time I thought she was wearing a t-shirt. So as you can imagine, I feel completely and utterly betrayed by this information. So you can just like tell overall this thing has a higher budget, and just like animation quality aside, you can tell it has a higher budget because of the sheer volume of people in the movie. Most of them don't do anything other than wander around, but like you can like tell they had more money because of the amount of people. Like in the show, Paris feels like a small town with really cool monuments that no one ever visits. Whereas in the movie, it felt more like a city. Now, Paris is super busy, and when I was there, it was a lot busier than I remembered it being the last time I went, which was when I was 11. I'm 26 now. Like we went to the Trocadero, and you literally couldn't see the ground. It was so busy. Oh my god. I don't particularly think there's any way you could replicate in an animation anyway how busy Paris is without a lot of efforts, and I think it would just be pretty unenjoyable to watch if you had to watch that many people on screen. So I don't particularly think there would be a way to replicate it, but at the very least it, you know, did feel like a city this time. Like I said, show Paris feels more like a random town in France that has an Eiffel Tower. So yeah, so also the way the hands were animated, amazing. I'm absolutely obsessed with hands, both in the film and in the show. I don't know why, I just am, okay? It was great. So in conclusion, I'm in love with it. I would marry this movie. I would watch it right now if I can. It all just worked really well together. Like I said, I think it could have done with 1 or 2 more songs. I think the wall between us would have worked really well, and one towards the end would have helped too, and a couple more Gabriel scenes and maybe some more Sabine. But I think like there was nothing major wrong with it. I think it was pretty flawless, and I loved the overall message of, you know, stronger together as well as listen to your heart. You can just tell how much love and passion and care has gone into this project. I don't particularly think it was really lacking anywhere, just a few improvements here, and I think it would have been perfect. Like when I say improvements, like pretty minor things, you know, and I can't wait for you all to see it. I'm gonna do a fuller commentary then, although probably won't happen on the day it comes out because the movie's an hour and a half. Alright, I remember the last special that came out, the Shanghai special. That took ages when I did the commentary for the Shanghai special. That's only an hour long. Okay, so probably isn't gonna happen on the same day. My plan right now is on the day it releases to do all the notes, film the next morning, and depending how long the video ends up being, hopefully edit and upload the next day. But I don't know, I can't make a promise right now. There's a lot going on in the film, but honestly I think my commentary is going to be pretty positive, to be honest, unless something major comes up when I rewatch it, or I just hate seeing it in English. But the French was absolutely amazing, and like I said, please watch it legally to support it so Jeremy knows we want another one, because it does end on a cliffhanger. He wants to do another one. So I hope you all watch it, and I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. And I just want to say thank you again. I know I've said it several times now, but I wouldn't have been able to afford to go to Paris without you all watching my videos. It's no secret that YouTubers make money off their videos. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm not earning millions on my videos, but I'm earning a substantial amount. And without you all watching my videos, I wouldn't have been able to afford the tickets to the premiere, or the plane tickets, or the hotel, and, you know, food whilst we were there and stuff. So thank you so much, everyone. So I'd love to know what you think of my review, if you can give an opinion. I'm not really sure how you're going to give an opinion on it since most of you won't have seen it, but leave a comment anyway. I don't know. So I'd love to know what you all think, even if you haven't seen it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!